These are my two guests, my mom and dad. Okay, so we watched a video in psychology class over this harm reduction model wet house for alcoholic men. These are men who have lost their lives to alcohol, including their love life, family, job, money, etc. It kind of resembles a college dorm in the way they're living. They have roommates, etc., but they are given a monthly stipend by the government, which is $89, and they can do anything they want with this money. While this is a recovery house, it's also a house where they are able to drink, which can be very controversial. What do you guys think about what I've said so far?
Well, I think that if you're in a recovery house, why would you give someone money so they can actually drink more? And you would just enable each other, the people that are housed in those dorm rooms, because you're in a small area. $89 will get you some really cheap alcohol.
You're enabling them.
Yeah.
I agree for
And
sure.
if they want a recovery, they should be in a recovery program. We shouldn't be taking tax dollars to, allow people to drink themselves to death. It should be an improvement or you're out.
I agree. Like you said, people drinking themselves to death. A lot of these people are homeless, and mentioned in the video, this is a place where they can die on a bed instead of the street, which is why some people think that this is productive and good. A lot of the residents there are kind of afraid of drinking just because they've lost everything else in their life, and drinking is like their only hold back to themselves. This house, since they only do get $89 and it is monitored, it does allow them to reduce their drinking and not getting drunk all of the time. However, the freedom of choice has not let them recover fully. And also,
Well, addiction is a disease. They should be treating the disease, not feeding the addiction in there.
yeah, I
Don't
agree.
allow it to happen.
I agree completely.
On my dime, in your dime.
Yeah, it is.
Soon to be your dime.
It is, and taxpayers do pay for this. And I think that this money should be going to something more substantial, like, I don't know, like a psych ward or an actual recovery place for former addicts that's dry. And I don't think they should be having access to alcohol in general. I think that they should be heavily monitored, and I don't know, like I don't agree with it.
Well, maybe they could use that $89 per person and fund that with some sort of mental health counselors, more mental health counselors per ward or per dorm room or dorm hall, and maybe think of other things other than alcohol to
Well, the thing
satisfy
with
their
recovery or help is like people are gonna want it, right? They've got to take it
Yeah.
seriously, and this is giving them a limb to not do that. So, I know that they're trying to think that they make things better, but from my own point of view, I don't think that it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
I think that if I was homeless and an alcoholic, and I could go to a recovery house and you would pay me to drink, and I would have a bed, like,
Oh, yeah,
why would
I
you
mean,
not go?
It's like $1 million offer.
Yeah.
But
Like,
like,
you don't have to sleep outside and you get to drink for free.
yeah, for sure.
So that's very unfortunate.
The good thing, a better thing about it is they don't actually provide the alcohol, but some
They do provide the alcohol
Yeah.
because they're providing $89 to spend
Sure.
however they
Yeah.
want unchecked, and they're feeding and housing them.
And some people even take it to such an extreme when they can't access alcohol, they'll drink things such as mouthwash to
Mhm.
get them drunk.
Yeah.
And even just like rubbing alcohol, they'll dilute it with water, they'll cover the taste with something else and do that. And that's how a lot of people drink themselves to death because it's so detrimental on your digestive system.
Right.
Let me see. Alcohol also is truly addictive. Like a lot of people oversee that. They think that like alcohol is just kind of a way for some people to get by, or some people to just keep going, or something that's fun to do at a party.
Or
But-
hide.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a lot the misconception is alcohol is truly addictive and one of the most world renowned drugs out there for for sure.
but yet it's so easy to get.
It's so easy to get.
Well, I mean, alcohol has been socially acceptable for so many years, and a lot of emphasis has been put on it for
Yeah.
quite some time. But it's still an addiction. You know, the whole thing about helping people I'm on board with, and I'm on board with helping people with whatever tax dollars we need to do, but not to allow people to continue down the path. They have to get better, right? And you know, alcohol is prevalent in most everybody's life, and it's kind of swept under the rug, and nobody wants to deal with it until it kind of blows up in your face. But it definitely ruins people.
Yeah. I just think it's crazy that the addicts that are in this house, their whole life has been ruined by alcohol, yet they're still feeding into it and making
She's
it
not
so
talking
worse.
about our house.
No, the halfway house, the harm reduction model house. They're still feeding into their addiction and making themselves worse when the money that they could be given, the help that they're given, could be used for other reasons, such as getting them a job, making a meaningful life for themselves. Even, I mean, you never know how much education they've had, like putting it into a college fund, going back and getting a further education. Like, I know these are older men, but it's never too late.
Right.
And like, in my opinion, if I was in this situation, I would want to just go and live my life for a better purpose.
Right.
Because this has happened to you, know how detrimental it's been on you, and now you're just going and feeding back into it.
And maybe they could use that money to have someone help them to cope and to learn how to place that feeling that they get when they get drunk, replace it with something better,
Yeah.
and know how to live with it.
Good point, Mom.
Thanks.
Very good point.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think for sure what you said, with the mental health counselors again, a lot of these men are very sick mentally and starting to get sick physically. I mean, they're feeding into this addiction, like I said, and this is gonna cause them more effects than just like, oh, I'm sad, let me get drunk.
So does the house take care of all the medical costs as well?
It wasn't mentioned in the video, but I'm assuming yes, as they
So
give
we've-
them
They feed, house, medical care, and give them money to go drink.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
I know.
It really
Very.
is. You know, at least if they're gonna like let them live there and try to, even if their goal is to help them drink less, which I highly disagree with, but
Yeah.
if that's their goal, you know, make them where they have to attend a physical activity class every day. They have to attend some sort of either spiritual or, you know, philosophy
Something to
type
better
class,
themselves, yeah.
or something, you know, something like different blocks per day during the day of something that they could maybe go toward a path that they could potentially be interested in, rather than just, you know, and part of that money would have to be used toward one of those paths.
And all these men are also in it together, but they're also enabling each other to drink more and more.
Yeah, they are.
Like, they're hiding their alcohol. Like, I saw in the video,
It's
one
'cause they don't
guy,
want the other alcoholics to take it.
yeah, one guy even had it, like, buried under a picnic table. I'm like, come on, like, you're even allowed to have it and you're still hiding it. You know there's something wrong in that.
Well, they're hiding it because the other guys are going to steal it.
Yeah, that's true too,
Yeah.
for sure.
And it probably has something to do with some sort of issue they've had in the past. Maybe they didn't have enough food or whatever, and they have to hoard it to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
So it has something to do with that too.
Or guilt.
Yeah.
And also, like, every drop counts because they're not going to get that monthly stipend until a month later. And you know, as soon as they get it, they're going to go spend it all.
Yeah.
This one guy in the video said that he went, he bought tobacco, he bought his medicine, and then he bought as much alcohol as he could. And it's just like, you could be spending that on other things. Like, he probably has kids out there. Send them a little gift. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to see through that whenever you're.
Addicted.
Yeah.
Hence the need for help.
Addiction is definitely scary. And also these guys, we talked about tolerance. Like, they're gonna need more and more of the same alcohol to feed into their addiction.
Yep.
And I mean, where are you gonna get that?
Yeah, I mean, if they start out drinking 2 to 3 drinks, initially that's going to turn into 5 or 6, and
And just go from there.
Then they'll start stealing from each other and
So yeah, I think definitely our consensus is that while this is a good place to recover, technically, it should be turned more into a dry house where they can get better without feeding into their addiction and get the help they need, mental health therapy, whatever they need, help them get jobs, help them get a further education,
give them a path.
give them a path to help better themselves instead of feeding their addiction to drink themselves to death.
Completely agreed.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.